I think I recognize almost everybody. Who is that? Who is MFR? Who is MFRAGR? Anyone? No one knows. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, it's 10:30, which is when we were slated to start. It looks like we've got about 20 participants on, which isn't bad, given that we're having to do this in a very different format, and I'm not bribing you with food. So thank you for joining us. We are going to start today with a slightly different thing because we're doing Zoom and because we're all probably spending quite a bit of time doing Zoom. I thought we would start, well, first off, I guess let me share my screen with you. Hang on just a second. Alrighty. You all should be able to see my slideshow now. Can I get thumbs up for those of you who can see? Excellent. Okay. All right, so you guys, we're going to start out a little bit differently, and bear with me. This may not be everyone's cup of tea here, but I've decided to start with a little bit of an icebreaker in a breakout group. So Abby is going to put us into breakout groups of 3 in just a minute, and we're going to spend only 5 minutes sharing our answers to these 2 little icebreakers. So the first, thinking about your work style, imagine you are an animal. What animal would you be and why? For example, you might be a bear. You like to work as a team, but then you like to be solo and hibernate for quite a while. The second, a little bit easier, my favorite go-to indulgent snack is blank. And so Abby, go ahead and put us into our breakout groups. 5 minutes, you guys. All right, we're all back. Did we make it through that little exercise? Not too painful, right? Yeah, all right. So I try not to make them too bad. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for humoring me on that. It's nice to at least get a little bit of different one-on-one interaction because these Zoom calls aren't great for that otherwise. What I'm going to show you today is just a bunch of slides that kind of update us all on where the department is in a variety of ways. I'm happy to take questions at any point, and if it appears that I've forgotten a piece of information that ought to be on there, please feel free to just raise your hand, you know, literally, or in with the little Zoom hand. Feel free to also write into the chat box, and Abby will help me kind of watch those things. All right, so we start with a little bit of good news, and I think we've announced this a couple times, but to make sure that you guys all know it, Matthew Allen, one of our staff out at the North Farm, got a Sustainability Challenge Grant Award, and he's on the call. Matthew, do you want to tell us about what you're doing with that award?
Yeah, so myself, Dr. Haramoto, and a professor from Community and Leadership Development, Dr. Epps, are working together with an artist to have a mural painted here at North Farm. And the goal of that is to kind of make a visual statement of the kind of work we've done in the past to help benefit Kentucky's agricultural economy in a variety of ways. So one of the other goals is to try to be inclusive amongst different communities that we also affect. So it's pretty exciting and an interesting task. So.
It's going to be pretty good size, and on the side of the barn that you look at when you come in off the Ironworks Pike entrance, right? Right,
So
Matthew?
we're trying to make it as visible from the road as you can, which happens to be the north side of the agronomy building. And it looks like it's going to be at least 300 square feet, so it's going to be pretty big.
What kind of time frame are you guys on? Is there going to be a prototype, or you're going for it, or what have you got?
There's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through, as you can imagine, having something painted on a building right now. We have the deadline of 2022, but
Okay.
we were shooting for this fall, and it may still happen, but if not this fall, definitely next spring.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. Let us know when work starts out there, and we'll send something around so people know it's happening and can expect it to appear. So congratulations and thanks. Thank you for motivating and doing that for us.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to say thank you all for everything you do for our department, and particularly on the research front, which is what a lot of you spend a lot of your time doing. So here's our 5-year trends in overall research extramural funding for the department. And so you can see last year FY20 was a, yep.
You're not seeing your screen, or at least I'm not.
Oh, am I not? Sorry. Let me do that. Thank you. Except it's being, here we go. Can you see it now? Okay, excellent. So here's the 5-year trend in the department extramural awards coming in. And so I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that we've had a number of really good years here, the last 2 in particular. So 20% increase in FY20 over FY20 over FY19. So the department is doing quite well and definitely on a positive trajectory in our research money. And so thank you guys for everything you do to help your faculty be successful in going out there and getting these dollars and producing on them. And slightly not so exciting news, I wanted to just update you on our budget situation. Unfortunately, it has the inverse trend to our research dollar graph that I just showed you. So we've had 3 consecutive years of budget cuts, possibly longer. So at least while I've been a chair, every year has been a cut. The first year we had a $200,000 cut, which wasn't immediately obvious, and I refer to it as the benefit swipe. The following year, much reduced cut, $35,000. It was the portion of our staff and faculty raises that the department had to pay for. So again, that cost us some money. And then nothing really compares to what we took this year, an $800,000 cut that was handed down, so 9.5% to all the units in the college. And that has been painful and will continue to be painful. They allowed us to take this $800,000, ultimately has to be in recurring funds, which is basically salary in our department. And I was able to take a piece of it in non-recurring dollars this year, which helped us, but I'm going to have to pay it back next year. So right now we are looking at owing $150,000 at the start of next fiscal year. So again, that'll be the base of the cut that we suffer from next year. And if you saw the president's email that came out last night, he is encouraging us to brace for something quite a bit more. So, it doesn't look great, people. So I'm worried. I'm worried for our department, worried for university, and we'll just try to take it day to day. The good news, if there is any good news in this, is that all that being said, this fiscal year is actually not as bad as I had initially feared when I knew we were going to have the 9.5% cut. And that is because Lauren and I were able to save money from the past fiscal year and roll it over. So that's helped us. We're also going to be draining several savings mechanisms that we have in the department this year, which will keep us in not bad territory. But unfortunately, next year those will all be gone. So I'm really very concerned about what we're looking at next year, but it's a long ways away at this point, and I've learned you definitely cannot predict the budget. So it's best to try not to lose too much sleep over this. Any questions on the budget? Yeah, okay. Sort of related to the budget news are some staff and faculty updates. So you all know we've been in a hiring freeze, and so our new people to the ranks are relatively small numbers for us. We added Tara Valentine, who replaced Bo Neal in the Bob Pierce program, and we added Dalton Mertz, who replaced oh, I can see his face, but I am not coming up with his name. Brandon Roberts with Claire Bernard's program. And I think we're moving to making Dalton's position, it started as a temporary because it happened right at the time that the hiring freeze occurred. And I think we're getting ready to convert that into a permanent position. So we're happy about that. But the hiring freeze has really limited a whole lot of other hiring that we would normally be doing. And so we're working on getting some of those pieces moving through, but it has cost us 6 months or so. We have had a staff change. Ricky King left the turf program and moved into Monse's program, and so it's now associated with her soybean physiology group. And we've also had, at least, I realized I left Linda Williams off this. We've had 2 retirements since the COVID started, Susan Leopold and Linda Williams. And then Dina has announced her planned retirement at the beginning of 2021. So we will have 3 staff members that we're losing, none of whom we will be replacing because of our budget situation. We're actually unlikely to be replacing anybody at this point moving forward because I'll need that money to make any kind of cuts we have facing us. Susan and Linda are both doing well. I can report Susan sent an email not too long ago that she seems to have made the transition to retirement quite smoothly. Linda stopped by my office maybe a month ago and surprised me, and she's doing really well, spending quite a bit of time with her children and grandchildren, I think. I think she's also bought a farm somewhere outside of Winchester, so they seem to be doing good. In terms of faculty updates, there's a number to give you. You should have seen that one of our emeritus faculty, Glenn Collins, unfortunately passed away about 2 weeks ago. Many of you probably knew Glenn, and I know that I saw Carol at the reception for him. He is considered pretty much the founder of our ABT program. He was kind of a plant biologist and very highly respected in our department and in the college, but has been sick for a very long time. He suffered from Alzheimer's for a long, long time, and it was time for him to go. We also lost Greg Munshaw. Greg did not retire. He resigned to take an industry job late April, and the budget cut consumed his position, and so we will not be replacing a turf extension position. You all should have seen the news that Carrie Knott is now the managing director of the Princeton station, UKREC, and so Carrie is now 60% administration. I believe that's right, 40% research extension split kind of thing. So Carrie still remains one of us, but she has taken on a pretty hefty administrative role in trying to manage the station out there. Larry Grabo is back with us, so he has not been too physically present given all the health concerns, but he is in town. He came back from sabbatical, managed to get back from Belgium in June, did 2 weeks of quarantine, and has been here since, so you may see Larry around. He has an office in the plant science building. And then finally, there are changes happening in the Hildebrand lab, and I think you all are aware of this, but you know, what I can tell you is that his situation is still evolving, and so David's program underwent an extensive audit and was found to have substantial issues in grant management, particularly fiscal management. So it looks like he will not be allowed to fiscally manage money moving forward. To manage money moving forward, that's obviously going to affect his research program. And so his last active grant is ending at the end of September. Unfortunately, that grant fully supports Hero, a longtime employee of the department and his lab. So unfortunately, Hero will be leaving us at the end of September. And that's about all I can say there. Are there any questions on any of these changes or updates? Okay. All right, just to keep you updated with the academic side of what's happening in the department, we were slated to have about 10 new graduate students this fall, which is a pretty normal number for us in the program, but COVID struck and has deferred about half of those. So they're hoping that they can get there in spring of 21. At least a few of these are because they are in foreign countries and are unable to get into the United States. A couple of them, I think, maybe for reasons I am not aware of. So the ones that have joined us, the 5, Kent Pham with the Mo Lab, Zoe Schroeder with DeBolt, Victoria Adkins with Rudolph, and Chelsea Maupin with Jacobson, and Riverdale with Ray Smith. So 2 of them are ours and 3 of them are over in horticulture. Hopefully these here will be able to start in the spring. Wanted to keep you apprised of our new undergraduate degree program, Agricultural Ecosystem Sciences. The main thing I want to let you know here is that it is growing and really appears to be having some success in recruitment, which I think most of us are very surprised by and very pleased about. So Dave McNair and Abby are working hard to get this program going and have kind of have its own mojo. So we had 8 students in its inaugural year, and they've recruited another 11 this year, bringing us up to 19. And so that's really a pretty decent number of students. You know, to be a viable degree program here at the university, you're supposed to be graduating 10 students a year. So if you look at that, we're actually, you know, not doing too bad there. So we're excited about this program and hope that it continues to grow. And then to make you aware of a new certificate that Dave McNair is planning in hemp science. And so this one is still in the works. It was also been delayed by everything we're dealing with this year, but he's hoping to get it approved and ready to roll January 1. A lot of this is going to be online. I think all of it will be online eventually. But Bob Pierce is teaching this first one, hemp production principles. Is he actually teaching that this fall? Abby, do you know? Not doing it this fall, so maybe next fall. And then these 3, hemp for medicinal application, hemp field to fiber, and hemp economics and market analysis, I think are all planning to be online. So we're pretty excited about that. Obviously, the world of hemp is changing rapidly. It's a little unclear still kind of where it will fall out and be in terms of a crop for the state and an economic pursuit here. But hopefully this will be something that attracts from nationwide and possibly even broader. Okay, a few fundamental nuts and bolts here, and you guys should have seen last week that we were told that TRIP and ProCard systems are changing within SAP and kind of converging into a new Concur platform. So Concur has always been kind of our travel management system, but it's where you purchase airline tickets. At least that's what I mostly do in it. But now all of our travel reimbursement process and approval process is also going to be running through Concur and the ProCard piece. So this is going live today. It's been unbelievably poorly communicated to the college and the department. We only found out like midweek last week that this was happening and that it was going to be live today. We are not prepared to deal with this, and we have changes happening in our department that this is going to directly impact. I mean, primarily Dana, who is the ProCard person in the department, is planning to retire at the end of December. So we probably need someone new to be figuring out the new ProCard system. And so because we knew that we've had these retirements, Linda, Susan, and Dina, because we knew we had a new trip and ProCard process happening at some point this fall, actually Lauren and Abby and I had already started working on a possible reorganization of those duties across the front and business office staff. And we rolled that out to those groups this morning. They're going to be trying to adapt to those changes and move forward and learn these new systems as quickly as we can. But please be patient with us as we try to figure this out, because we've had no lead time to get ready for what this is going to be. So in highlighted here, you can see the changes that are happening. This is what we're going to start with, and we'll see how it goes. But business officer, so Lauren's position, is not really changing. She's continuing to do most of the main things she's been doing. Maggie's position, the HR position, is also keeping its primary aspects, hiring and firing, payroll, and the graduate student forms. But she'll be more formally taking on a complete onboarding of new people, and she'll also be taking on the postdoc process, which runs through a totally different office. You might recall this position used to actually be called kind of the travel / purchasing position. It's Vicky's position over here. We have decided to tighten its focus on purchasing only. And so you'll see what's not listed under here is Trip. So Trip has moved off of Vicky, and instead she will be inheriting Dina's ProCard duties and also taking on overall supply ordering. So if we have printers that are down and they need service, well, actually, is that right? No, if they need paper, you would contact Vicky to get the paper ordering. If you have office supplies that you need on the floor, for example, that would be something that would go through Vicky. So we're trying to tighten up the overall cash flow. If you think about it from a credit card standpoint, an account movement standpoint, which is some of this PRD, PO stuff, and then the Pro cards. If you guys have questions, just chime in. With regard to the front office, there have been some changes, pretty dramatic ones, in Audrey's position. So because of Linda's retirement, she's already taken on the website and the media piece here. Because of Susan's retirement, she's taken on the announcements, the mail, especially in Ag Science North, and then printer oversight. So she's the one to call if the printer isn't working, and she can get the guys to come out and take a look at it. But you can also see this is where Trip has landed. And so Audrey will be learning a brand new, pretty large system that's important for our department. And so we hope that's going to work. We moved Trip in here because she does handle a lot of travel arrangements for seminar and food and management, and we felt like some of that fed more directly into this function than into the purchasing function. So we'll see how that goes. And then the department manager position is Abby's job, obviously, and she has already taken on a fair amount of ProCard oversight. And so that is the new piece that remains with her. Ultimately, it may not stay with her. This might be something that moves to Lauren, but for right now, that's kind of where we are. Any questions from anyone on these changes? We'll be updating. We're gonna go for a week, let Audrey and Vicky and others try to figure out the new system, revisit our organization here, and then if we think this is worth a go and try it, we'll update the internal website, the who does what in the department files, all that stuff, so that you guys can easily find who's in charge of what. All right, in terms of a few news and reminders for lab safety, this is from Claire. It looks like we are not going to have lab inspections as long as we stay in phase 2 of our research, which is where we are right now. If we move into phase 3, the high hazard lab inspections will be prioritized, but we don't have any of those. And so most likely, it looks like our labs are not going to be inspected in 2020. But that does not mean that you shouldn't be doing your basics. So the chematics inventories need to be updated, any kind of chemical hygiene plan, trainings, lab signage, make sure all that stuff is up to date, just as if you were about to be inspected. So most of the annual trainings are online, and you can revisit here and see if anybody in your lab needs them. And then, oops, the bio raft for your chemical stuff is here too. Make sure we're aware that this applies to Princeton and any other remote locations. Claire, do you have anything you want to add on the lab and lab safety?
Hello.
Hi. Anything else we need to know, Claire?
Pretty much we should keep, our standard as high as usual, but there will be no inspection until we are on phase 2. How long will the phase 2 last? We don't know. And yeah, so at this point, I would just keep everything as good as we can. If there is any questions that people have about lab safety, of course, we can contact EHS and have them come to your lab if there is any question or any concerns, especially for the new people who come on board. So feel free to contact them or me. But other than that, there will be nobody coming to your lab and inspecting it. So.
Alrighty. Thank you for that. So just so everyone knows, our seminars are back. They started last Friday. They're 3 p.m. on Eastern, and Audrey will be sending out weekly reminders on that. It's the same Zoom link, but she'll have the Zoom link on those weekly reminders, so feel free to join us. One of the positives of COVID and seminars being on Zoom is it's much easier to get speakers to commit to giving a seminar because they're not committing to having to travel for 2 full days. So we have quite a diverse and exciting lineup of people coming from all over the United States, and so feel free to join us there. Excellent news! You get to practice. You get to celebrate at home, Cafe Staff Appreciation Day. So Roundup isn't happening. There will be no staff appreciation lunch like there normally has been underneath the tents across the road. And the dean's memo told us to celebrate at home the weekend of September 25th and the 26th. They haven't told us whether we're going to get any kind of little gift. So who knows? If something shows up, I'll let you guys know. I think the research office, our college research office, is still planning to release research activity awards. You'll remember that one of the things Bob has changed about those awards is he's made them available to staff. They range from a $500 to $30,000 to $3,000, and you need a departmental match on those. So watch your email for those to be announced. Hopefully that'll come out sometime in the next month or so. And if you want to apply for one, please be sure to contact me so that I can consider the match and figure out what we've got going on at the departmental level there. A couple of inclusion events that are happening. One called Cultivating Inclusion. It's a series, the first Thursday of every month, September through December from 12 to 1. And so watch your emails on those, or if you want a link, you can email me and I'll send you the link of that setup of that series of events or seminars. I'm not too sure what they are. And then this one I don't know too much about either, but there's a new employee relief fund called Crisis. And I'll circulate these slides to you all so you can click on the UK Now article and read about it. I think you can both donate and give to this program as well as apply to receive funds out of it. And it's, I believe, designated solely to help people through the financial crises that COVID is inflicting on a lot of individuals. I think you've heard me talk about this several times. I was interested in initiating our own staff appreciation program, much smaller in scale, but more frequent was the idea than the college level appreciation program. The idea being that the college level only happens once a year, it's highly competitive, and so it isn't really the best way to show regular appreciation for things that your staff do. And so I finally got this through the process of formal approval. It has been approved, and Audrey has helped me work on a simple Qualtrics website where you would be able to nominate someone. So the aim of the program is to more immediately recognize excellence by our staff. And I'm not too sure if this will be something that's quarterly or something that I try to address as soon as they come in. I think the program's going to have to run for a little while in order for me to assess what way might be best here. But essentially, anyone in our department can nominate a staff member. So this could be a student, a fellow staff member, or a faculty member. We want it to be a recognition of someone going well beyond the call of duty of their job for something that they've done here. The type of award will probably vary. The feedback was people wanted a range of things to choose from. So, but you can see award amount is not huge, but the idea is to give immediate appreciation back to someone going beyond their job. So I'll send this link out. It's going to be present through our internal website. It's very easy. You just say who you're nominating, who you are, and the reason that you think the staff member deserves the award. This will send directly to Abby and I. We'll watch them when they come in, and then as I said, once this goes live and runs for a little while, I'll get a better feel for whether we're going to have kind of a quarterly presentation of these awards or whether it's going to be, like the next week we recognize this person with some sort of little gift. I'm open to feedback on this program. If we run it for a year or two and it peters out and it's, nobody seems very interested, we'll get rid of it. If you think it needs improvement, I'm also open to that. So I'll send you a separate email that has the link here, and I'll send it to everybody. So hopefully you'll see that soon. And we're almost done here. Good news, just to try to balance some of the not so great news we have recently, we are getting a new microplate reader in S104. Dave Van Sanford is purchasing that for the department, so I appreciate that, and I appreciate Megan taking care of ordering it and getting it in place. Good news is that we've had no grad students delayed in their graduations from COVID, and so that's a positive thing, and I know you all contribute to that. Your roles helping to keep the labs going and the field research programs going, and us being in compliance during this period is directly helping our students stay on track and making the needed progress for them to go ahead and finish up when they're slated to finish up. So thank you all for helping them with that. Does anyone else have any good news they want to share? Hearing none, okay. I hope you're thinking of some in your head. There has to be more good news out there. With that, that's all I have. And so again, I'll just say thank you all for helping the department get through this period. It has been unbelievably stressful for everybody. And I think it's remarkable that our fall semester seems to be going as well as it's going. I can't believe that it actually looks like we may make it to Thanksgiving. I would not have thought that would be possible 3 to 4 weeks ago. I didn't think there was any chance that would be doable. So we'll be thankful if we make it there. That's got a direct economic impact on our university. And so I hope we do make it there. I appreciate that you all are following recommendations and doing everything you can to keep yourselves and your lab groups safe and the people in your building safe. I feel like as a department and a unit, we're, especially as big as we are, we're doing really well with that. And I appreciate you guys helping us get there. Does anyone have any questions for me? I don't know that I can see the chat, Abby. If you can, is there anything in there?
Nope, nothing in there.
Okay. All right, you guys. Well, unfortunately, I can't purchase you lunch, but hopefully you've got something good planned. And it's still a little early, I guess. So, but no reason to beat a dead horse.